They have it all, from action-packed to comedy. Cartoon Network has given us some of the best shows throughout the years. It doesn't matter what decade or era you look at, Cartoon Network had something great to offer. With so many cartoons to choose from, we've managed to narrow down some of our cartoon favorites, from the classics to the most modern shows. Welcome back to FilmShack. Today, we prepared for you the 10 best Cartoon Network shows of all time. Number 10. Ed, Edd and Eddy.
I'm a woodpecker! Except with dirt.
It's hard to forget a show like Ed, Edd and Eddy because of its unique artistic design and its interesting characters. Voiced by Matt Hill, Samuel Vincent, and Tony Sampson, the Eds are three preteen boys who happen to all have the same name with their own different personalities. Eddie, Double D, and Ed are three very close friends who live on a cul-de-sac with several other characters, and their show revolves around them thinking up different ways to scam their neighbors out of quarters, just so they can run to the candy shop to purchase jawbreakers. Eddie often comes up with the schemes. Double D is the brains who figures out how to do things, and Ed does the heavy lifting. Because of how many different ways the Ed boys would go on to try and raise money, it captured the imagination of everyone who watched the show. It encouraged fans to take the initiative, and everyone loved them for it. Number 9. Teen Titans.
And you must be Robin. Oh, I am loving this cape. It's positively luscious.
There's no shortage of laughs and action in this series based on the DC characters of the same name. Since it premiered on CN back in 2003, Teen Titans has become the most beloved series on the network. Apart from the laughs and action, Teen Titans manages to tackle serious themes and handle character development like no other animated series could. The series had a 5-season run, with reruns continuing to air on the network to this day. Younger generations stumble upon the show and fall in love with it, much like previous watchers did almost 15 years ago. In this show, Robin, Scott Menville, got the spotlight as the intelligent and cunning leader. You then have Starfire, Hayden Walsh, a bubbly alien princess, and Cyborg, Carrie Payton, a half-human, half-robot with super strength and tech knowledge. Completing the group was Beast Boy, Greg Sipes, a Joker with animal shape-shifting abilities, and Raven, Tara Strong, who uses dark energy and has sonic abilities. Number 8. Codename Kids Next Door.
His cholesterol is dropping fast!
All right, number 4, what did you eat? Brussels sprouts.
Codename Kids Next Door will be a serious blast from your childhood. The show made you wish the storyline actually existed in real life because it was that cool. The show originally aired in 2002 and continued for 6 seasons until 2008. This show had all the elements of what kids' lives should be about: friends, secret hideouts, treehouses, and code names. However, the adventures of these 5 kids in the neighborhood were brought on by the fact that they're actually part of a larger global organization called Kids Next Door. The show ran from 2002 until 2008 and has become a favorite among many kids of all ages, adults included, that followed Cartoon Network. It's interesting to imagine what the kids next door might be up to these days, 12 years after the last episode of the series aired. 5 10-year-old kids are part of a secret organization called Kids Next Door. They operate from a high-tech treehouse with advanced weaponry to fight evil adult and teen villains. Their code names are numbers 1 through 5. Now, it's not very common to see a 10-year-old leader completely bald, but we think number 1 managed it. Number 7. Courage the Cowardly Dog.
We interrupt this program to bring you Courage the Cowardly Dog Show, starring Courage the Cowardly Dog!
Courage the Cowardly Dog is a show that most people would remember as weird because, to be fair, the show was rather weird. There were episodes that could only be described as surreal, and it involved a little scared pup known as Courage, who lived with Muriel and her husband Eustace. Together they lived in the middle of nowhere, but mind-boggling stuff happened, and while Eustace was too busy with his television, it's up to Courage to save Muriel from bad things. He taught those who were rather shy and who avoided conflict that it's okay to be afraid. The valuable lesson the show taught was that to be brave, to be truly brave, one had to be afraid. And that made people fall in love with the pink little pup. John R. Dilworth really pushed the bounds with this show. Come on, anyone who remembers this show has memories of them having nightmares about the show if they were in the 5 to 10 age range. And the funniest thing is, Cartoon Network gave no backlash to the show's creators. That's how episodes like The Mask were made. And do you know how they did this? They combined the horror aspects with action and humor. On paper, this sounds stupid, but they pulled it off, and it was amazing. Number 6. Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends.
And speaking of friends, man, oh man, you should see all the kinds of friends we've got here at Foster's. There's friends with horns, with wings, with horns and wings.
Imagine a world where imaginary friends were real. That's the basic premise of this highly successful CN show. In 8-year-old Mac's world, imaginary friends are as real as any other human, and he's got one of his own, Blue. However, Mac's mom wants him to get rid of Blue for some reason, so the two friends try to figure out a way to go around this predicament. It's hard to do when he's physically real. They discover a foster home for abandoned imaginary friends. As long as Mac visits Blue at the home, he is safe from being adopted. The show explores their wacky and fun adventures, alongside other characters at the home. Very creative, vibrant, strange, and, well, imaginative. This show had endless possibilities with its setup, and it took every advantage of them to create such an interesting world. The animation style was creative and interesting, with the tons and tons of unique character designs, not to mention the snappy humor and wacky writing. This show is a classic. Number 5. Johnny Bravo.
Kiss me, Johnny. Kiss me like I've never been kissed before.
Okay.
Johnny Bravo was a bit more adult-oriented than many of CN's shows, but it was still funny regardless. Everyone would remember this uncoordinated stud. Johnny Bravo originally aired in 1997, but didn't come to an end until 2004. This show was still a favorite amongst many in the 2000s. The title character was named Johnny Bravo, voiced by Jeff Bennett. Johnny was a young muscular guy from the waist up. He often wore the equivalent of Ray-Bans and had big coiffed bright blonde hair. What made the character memorable was the fact that he lived with his mom and he was always unsuccessful at getting a date. He also landed himself in some bizarre situations. Cartoons were the best shows CN has ever aired. All of them were unique in some way, but Johnny Bravo tops them all. I mean, how can you not laugh at an overconfident meathead getting turned down by yet another woman in a very bizarre way? Clearly the funniest CN show ever. Number 4. Ben 10.
Listen to me. You can't let your past screw-ups keep you from trying. We all believe in you, and we're counting on you.
Really? All right, Grandpa. I'll give it another shot.
That's the Ben I know.
Benjamin Tennyson was only 10 years old when he found the Omnitrix, a powerful watch that allowed him to transform into aliens it had already captured. This was the start of the great saga of Ben 10, created by Man of Action Studios, which has spawned several incarnations and multiple series. In the original series, Ben, his cousin Gwen, and their grandpa Max go around the United States, where Ben battles foes and the villainous Vilgax, who wishes to take the Omnitrix for his own nefarious gains. This show was simple with its attraction. It was about a young child with a kind heart, but who lacked the ability to protect those in need. It was about how when you find yourself with power, it's your duty to use that power responsibly. It was an excellent moral lesson that became an integral part of the Cartoon Network lineup. Number 3. Dexters Laboratory.
Of course, the obvious solution to our problem is to build a giant robot!
There's something absolutely adorable about this tiny boy genius and all the inventions he comes up with in his secret laboratory. Dexter's Laboratory was just one of those shows that made you laugh for no reason. The relationship that Dexter had with his sister Dee Dee was one of the highlights of the show. And of course, the competition with fellow genius Mandark was just as good. Dexter's constant battles are the stuff of comedy. While he may be highly intelligent, his carelessness and overexcitement take over most of the time, making him fail miserably at what he does. The best part about this show is Dexter's extremely thick accent, despite the fact that he comes from an all-American family. Number 2. Samurai Jack.
I wish you no harm. It is not me who should worry about being hurt, human.
Samurai Jack is an action-packed adventure of one Jack, a samurai from ancient times whose hometown was attacked by the evil Aku. Armed with his holy katana that was forged by Odin, Ra, and Rama for the sole purpose of defeating Aku, he battles the great monster and is almost successful in slaying him, until Aku opens a portal to the future. Jack is flung eons into the day of tomorrow, where the world is already ruled by a coup, and he scrambles to save the world of the future, as well as the world of the past, from the terrible clutches of Aku. The action sequences are intense, the storyline is dramatic, and Jack is a mysterious samurai that you can't help but cheer for. He's the perfect, quiet, kind protagonist, and it'd be a sin not to have him on this list, especially since the show was renewed for a dramatic final season. Number 1. Tom and Jerry. Talk about going classic. Tom and Jerry is one of the most classic cartoon favorites there ever was. We all know the whole cat and mouse chase premise of the story, yet no matter how many times we watch the cartoon, it never fails to make us laugh. Tom and Jerry was created back in 1940, and the central story is the rivalry between the two characters. There were times they'd be amicable, but that was almost always short-lived. The cartoon featured no dialogue whatsoever, which added to its magic and charm altogether. If there truly is a legend in our world, then it is this show, spanning over more than 80 years of airing, and even now it is being aired every day, with new productions and old episodes. Translated into most languages of the world, it is seen everywhere around the globe. Everywhere there's a TV. This is the most beloved cartoon of all time. One of the few that made a deep mark on history, a legacy that cannot be forgotten. This show deserves the first position. We would like to invite you to share your opinion with us. Do you agree with our list? Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on the notifications bell. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye!